Hello everyone, welcome back to the Opulent Life. Ozzy here again. Today we are doing a watch review from a brand that you are all very familiar with. It's Tissot, and today we're gonna unbox and review one of their more recent additions to their lineup, which has caused quite a bit of hype these days and has become very popular, and you'll soon see why. And wrist check, today I am actually wearing my Tissot Bridgeport, which I acquired a few years ago and I've reviewed it on this channel. Click the link on the side to see if you want to take a look at the review of this watch that I did a couple of years ago. I truly love this one, and it's still running strong. So let's get into it then. So this is actually going to be as you have read the title of this video, it is the Tissot PRX Powermatic that we are going to review. So let's get right into it then. So we have the outer paper covering of this Tissot packaging, which just has the Tissot logos on the front, which is their classic Swiss watches since 1853, the T and the Swiss cross, and then nothing remarkable on the front or back. The sides just have this red lining, which is going to be for the box. On the back side you have just serial numbers and the model number of this watch, MSRP $695. Actually it was a little bit higher than that when I bought it, so I'm just gonna let you know the pricing at the end. And then this also tells you that this is made of recyclable material, this watch box, and there's also some information here on how to register it and how to go about recycling it. Okay, let's take this outer covering out. Inside you have the typical box that you get from most watches. Tissot has done a little bit of a change to their watch boxes. They've made them a little bit more simpler and a little bit less interesting, I should say, but it does the job, keeps the watch in it. So you open it up, inside you have a no-nonsense Tissot logo. Here is the watch with a cushion on it. You have black and red lining, and you have the registration card. To activate the warranty, you have the instruction manual. Interestingly, it's for the chronographs, and it's also for the 2-3 hand watch. So that's that. And then no other secret compartments inside, I believe. Previously in Tissot watches you would get a lot of things in secret compartments. As you can see, this one is pretty plain, and it actually is pretty floppy as well, so nothing interesting here. So let's get directly to the watch itself. This is the watch, PRX Powermatic. Very beautiful looking ice blue dial, and this is one of their recent launches. The PRX came out last year actually, and it's come in a variety of colors. They make it in quartz, they make it in green color dial, they make it in gold as well, gold plated as well. They also have a digital version of this as well, if I remember correctly. And so this ice blue dial is the latest edition, and as you can see on the dial, it has a bit of a tapisserie pattern, which is very similar to the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. So it actually is, you know, kind of aimed at people who are looking for that aesthetic. With the integrated steel sports model, you have the integrated stainless steel bracelet, and it goes in line with all the Gerald Genta themed watches, such as the Nautilus, the Laureato from GP, from, as we mentioned, AP Royal Oak. So integrated stainless steel bracelet sports watches are all the hype. They're still the hype these days, even though the hype has been going on for the past few years. You would think it died down, but it hasn't. And as a result, we have entry-level brands making watches to fit that aesthetic and to capture the market, and it looks like it's working. So there you go, you have it right now. Let's shake it a little bit so it starts working a little. So this is what you have. You have the PRX power band. Now the movement in this watch is an ETA powered movement. It is actually and has an 80R power reserve. Technical name for this is the Tissot caliber 80, or in other words, the ETA C07.111 movement. It is a Swiss movement, and as a result, this watch is labeled Swiss made at the bottom at 6 o'clock. You can see the markings are pretty minimum. As you can see, just has the PRX at the bottom with Powermatic 80 written on it, just to letting you know that this is an automatic watch. You have the Tissot 1853 at the 12 o'clock position. You have the date window at 3 o'clock, which is nicely made, it's nicely bordered, it looks good, and can't complain about it. Now this does have a bit of a 70s aesthetic to it. As you can see, it has a brushed finish all across on the main surfaces, and very nicely finished, nicely beveled. You do have a little bit of polishing. The bezel itself is high polished stainless steel. All across you have again more brushing in one direction on the side here, and on the side of the case here. Same goes for this side of the case, and all across the bracelet. The bracelet is very smooth, very nice, plays very nicely with the light, as you can see. Very beautifully designed, and it is held by pins and it's not screws, so at this price point, you know, you can't expect too much, but that is still pretty good. So it has an 80R power reserve, as I mentioned, which is pretty good for a watch in this price range, I must say. Now this crown is not screw down, it is push and pull, and first position adjusts the date. It is quick set, as you can see. Second position adjusts the hands, and very smooth to operate overall. Push and pull in. It does have hacking and hand winding, as you can hear. Hacking and hand winding are both available. Now this is a 40mm case diameter. Now it wears small, even though it is 40 millimeters in diameter, it still wears pretty small because of its unique to-know shape. It is not a full-blown to-know shape because the dial itself is circular, but the aesthetics of the lugs give it a bit of a to-know shape if you look at it from that respect. Now the stainless steel here is 316L. It's not 904L like Rolex, of course. Most watches use 316L stainless steel, so no surprise here. The dial does have a little bit of a lume. We're going to do a lume test real quick. I don't expect this to be amazing lume, but we'll still give it a shot and see how much lume we can get at this price point. I'm just going to charge it up using my UV torch. Just give it adequate time. I'm going to turn off the light and see how it looks. All right, pretty decent. So it is not as strong as you would expect. The camera is compensating a little bit, but I can tell you it is not very strong lume. Especially look at the indices. The hands are a little bit better, but the indices are not lighting up so nicely. Let's charge it up a little bit more, see if it makes it a little bit better. Slight improvement, but still not too great. So the lume could be better, but it's not class leading by any means. And now this is water resistant to about 100 meters, which is good, and not bad at all considering that this does not have a screw down crown. I'm a little bit surprised it's even 100 meters, so but that's good to know. Now in terms of the bracelet, you can see this is a butterfly clasp. Nothing super fancy, pretty simple, straightforward. You see over here you have a dual action butterfly release. Smooth and easy, nothing complex. It does have Tissot and 1853 etched on here. You have the hang tag, which I haven't taken off yet. So you do have double security in the sense that, you know, you can't just open by just one, you have to press both in order to open it up. And it is pretty secure, as you can see. And the clasp itself does not have anything remarkable on it. It is high polished finish mostly, and smooth action here. You have some bead blasting over here and the inner portions. There is no micro adjustments available on this, but the links are pretty thin, so you would be able to easily size this to your wrist. And I'm going to put it on my wrist shortly to show you how it looks. You do have a half link over here that can help with adjustment as well, along with all these full links. All of the links cannot be taken off, just the ones over here and on this side. So you should have enough freedom to move it around as you see fit. Now, another interesting thing is you have some quick release mechanisms here to remove the bracelet and interchange it for straps. Now, you don't have any drill lugs, so I can imagine that these would be very useful. You do have a see-through case back, and to see the powermatic movement, there's not a lot of decoration here to see. It is pretty plain Jane simple for their powermatic 80 movement. It is a flat sapphire crystal on the front. I forgot to mention that. It is not domed. Same goes for the back, pretty plain. And as you can see over here, 100-meter water resistance. It's stainless steel all the way across. And you see the powermatic movement there taking away. You do get a custom rotor, so that is nice to know. And there is some anti-reflective coating here, as you can see. I'm getting very minimal glare, and that is nice to know. That is a good feature to have these days, especially on a sports watch. It is almost essential to have anti-reflective coatings to prevent that glare in the daytime when you're out and about. It was very difficult to do this with gloves, so I did take off this quick release to show it to you guys with my hands. So you basically pull these two up close to each other, and the spring bar goes in, and then you can take it out from the case. You can detach it from the case actually. So you press these two in and easily it comes off. You can put it back together easily as well, I can imagine. Only problem with that is that I'll put this on in a second, but the point of this is to remove it and interchange with straps. Now, how will you do that if you don't have drill lugs? Which means that in this system you can only get proprietary bracelets and straps from Tissot, which kind of sucks because that's not what you're looking for. And in an entry-level watch, you should have options to get your own straps onto this. So that's a bit of a bummer. All right, so I did manage to put the watch back together with a lot of difficulty, I must say. These quick change release straps, the system is not as friendly as it would seem, and it took a little bit of dexterity to pull it off, taking it off, putting it back on, and the fact that you cannot really put other straps on it if they're not proprietary to Tissot. Kind of a missed opportunity here, and this is what happens when you try to do too many things at a time. You end up messing up some of them, and this is a big mess up from Tissot, not making this interchangeable system easy to use like Oris does, like Cartier does. I mean, Cartier is a definitely at a different level, but they could have at least tried to go Oris's route and make it a simple flip lock rather than this type of strange spring bar. This does require tools to manipulate it. The only other option is you take off one of these links, lay it flat, and then you can easily move them across. But that just kind of ruins what a quick release strap should be for, a quick release bracelet should be for. If I have to unscrew this, take it out, take a link out, and then lay it flat and then move it out, it's no longer quick release anymore. It becomes very difficult. The fact that you have to go in and try to maneuver through the spring bar and actuate it in a specific manner, it's just not easy to do. So that is something you guys should be aware of. Now, coming back to the dial, as you can see, we talked about pretty much everything on here. The ice blue is really nice. It can cause some legibility issues for some people because these hour markers, they are bar style, they're very thin, and it can be a little bit difficult to view the time if you are not used to this type of dial design. The hands are pretty good. They are bar shaped, no nonsense, straightforward. So I think they could have made the hour markers a little bit wider in my opinion, and that would have improved the legibility a little bit. Coming to the crown, we talked about it not being screwed down. It does have the Tissot T logo on it and a little bit of bead blasting finish. The T itself is high polish finish. What else can we talk about here? So overall, that is the watch. We talked about the hour power reserve being 80 hours, and that's thanks to the patented Niacron balance spring that's in this movement. So that is one of the reasons why you have a good power reserve, and that's certainly industry standard these days, which is good. We talked about the diameter, which is 40 millimeters. Now the thickness of the watch is about 10.9 millimeters actually, and that is good. So you can pretty much use this as a hybrid watch, not just a sports watch, but also semi-formal occasions. It can slide easily under the cuff. It shouldn't be an issue, and that is a pretty nice thing. The lug width is 12 millimeters, so that is nice. Now let's put it on my 6 3/4 inch wrist and see how it looks. Right, so as you can see, 6 3/4 inch wrist looks perfectly acceptable. I think this is nice. As you can see, it plays with the light very nicely and fits perfectly. I can easily slide this under my cuff. I don't think it would be an issue, and this definitely is a unisex watch. I think both men and women can pull this off, especially in this color, very nicely, very easily. So overall, this is a pretty good watch from Tissot. It's from Macy's. I got this for $725, and the MSRP sticker may be an older one stuck on the box, but this is $725 from them. And even on Tissot's website, $725. If you can buy this on Joma Shop for around $550. You may have less options available in terms of colors. They also make a 35 millimeter version of this as well if you have very thin wrists, or if you are if you're going for the lady size. 35 millimeter is available, different colorways. You do have the option of going for gold plated as well as digital options. There's many different options available. You can go with quartz, which will cost less. But if you're looking for a Powermatic in this type of color, the ice blue I did not see on Joma Shop. I saw the older blue color on Joma Shop, and that was retailing for about, not retailing, well, it was on a discounted price of $550. So you have you can save a couple of $100 using gray market dealers, and you probably could in this way. In this type of watch, I would say go either way. If you really want the warranty, you can go from the department store, but if you want to save as much as you can, I would definitely recommend getting a watch like this from Joma Shop. I expect the prices to fall further, maybe when it falls into the $400 range. I would definitely use any coupon available and then get it at that price. At that price, I think this is fantastic. At $700 is also good, but if you really want a killer deal, let the prices fall a little bit to like $500 to $400. Let the hype die down, which may or may not in the next few months, but I expect by next year, definitely the hype is going to go down and all the colors are going to be available, and it'll definitely cost much less than it is right now. So if you want to wait, you should. You'll get it for like, that way you are saving approximately more than 40% off list price, and that is, I think, the way to go for a watch like this. You really don't need the warranty on something like this. The Powermatic 80 movement is a very workhorse movement for ETA, and it is very reliable. Doesn't usually break down. It's not a serviceable movement either. You guys should know this. It's more of a disposable type of movement. So don't expect to keep this watch as like a permanent collector piece. At some point in the future, maybe 30, 40, 50 years down the road, it will break down. And it's not something like your Audemars Piguet Royal Oak that will probably last a generation or so, and it'll still be fine. It's not a collector piece. It's a fun piece, everyday piece for, you can use it as a beater or as an everyday watch. Don't think of it as like a safe queen or something. This is just something to buy, use, enjoy, and move on. And it's one of those watches. It is a good watch, but it is not groundbreaking by any means. This is a case designed from 1978, so this is nothing that I have not seen before, and pretty much every micro brand is going this route these days as well. So, but it's nice to have a watch like this from a good brand. A little bit more about the movement. So we talked about this being an ETA powered movement, the CO7.111. Now this is based off an ETA 2824-2. It contains 23 joules, and it is oscillating at a frequency of 21,600 VPH. So that is the beat frequency, and because of the low beat frequency, you have an 80-hour power reserve. So that's something to keep in mind. So that was my review of the Tissot Powermatic 80 PRX in the ice blue dial. My final thoughts on this watch are that this is a great watch. Out of 10, I would give this a 6 out of 10. And you would be like, why such a low rating? Well, you see, a 10 out of 10 would be something like a Patek Philippe Grandmaster Complication. So I cannot give this a 10 out of 10 and have it at the same level as a Patek Philippe Grandmaster Complication if I'm rating it from 0 to 10. I've made my rating system a little bit more simpler and easier to follow than the previous one, so I'm just going to go simple, 0 out of 10. 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, 0 being the worst. And on that scale, this is going to get a 6, which is respectable for its entry-level category, and it is a nice watch to have. Not something ultra desirable. It's just a regular everyday watch, a good option for gifting, good option for keeping yourself, and a perfect everyday watch. I don't think Tissot could have made it any better at this price range. You can definitely get it for less even. So those are my final thoughts. 6 out of 10. Good, not very good or excellent or amazing, superb, but not bad nonetheless. So thank you guys for watching. Take care, and do like, share, and subscribe this for more content coming your way. And see you in the next one. Bye bye.